Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to be doing the mid-July love reading for the sign of Aries. Alright, my lovely Aries, first sign of the zodiac. If you're a regular or subscriber, you know the drill for my mid-monthly love check-ins. We're going to get your two angel oracle cards out to see what the energies are surrounding your relationship this month, or your love life rather, right? If you're just stopping by, you're not a regular, you've been surfing the web and you just landed on this video, you're Aries or you're a cross watcher for an Aries, welcome. I hope you enjoy. I hope something here resonates with you, and I hope you come back. So for right now, let's get your two cards out. The cards are jumpy tonight. Let's get your two cards out, Aries, and see what's going on. Show me. Woo, jumpy cards. Show me two energies, two cards, please. I just need two for Aries and their person this month. Show me. All right, they're calming down a little, and we can get ready to pull your cards out. All right. Woo. Aries, your first card. Forgiving and learning. Interesting. And you have playfulness. So this is the card that just fell out a minute ago. I put back in the deck. I don't like to take cards that just pop out sometimes, because sometimes the cards are just jumpy. The energies are jumpy. And I like to wait until they're a little bit more focused. Attraction. So that we can get a clear message, a concise message, right? Rather than, you know, just necessarily jumping on some chaotic energies. So we have forgiving and learning and playfulness. So this is interesting. Forgiving and learning is one of the cards that's been coming up for you recently quite a lot. And as well as attraction. There's someone in your life that you just can't stop thinking about, Aries, all right? So let's get into your 9-card spread. We won't really know what this is all about until we get your cards out. Tell me what's going on for our lovely Aries this mid-July period in the area of their love. We want a clear message for Aries, right? Concise message for those that have stopped along at this video today. Show me a clear picture, something that's going to resonate with my lovely fire sign of Aries. For those who are in love, want love, in relationships, right? We want affirmations, reaffirmations, and warning signs. Show me. All right. Lovely Aries. Let's get right into it. Now, I've already been meditating and shuffling for quite a while before I start filming, so we can get right into your reading, Aries. Here we go. First out the deck. 2 of Swords. Here we go. This has been your card for a while now with these readings. Another 10 of Swords. This is exact same positioning that the Cancer just got for the last reading. Star, wish fulfillment, 17. And Hermit energy. Wow. Virgo. Hanged Man at the center. Ooh, are you still stuck? Wow. And Knight of Swords coming in. 9 of Swords as well. Worry. 5 of Wands. Ooh, and 7 of Cups. Oh my God. Bottom of the deck, you have 10 of Wands. What? I mean, really, Aries, you are putting yourself through it. Right? I mean, my goodness, I can already, you've got 2 10s here, you know, it's like a long, long battle you've been going through here, right? Are you ready to lay it down? 10 of Wands talks about, you know, just finally being at the end of a period where you're ready to lay down the baggage, right? You no longer want to carry the guilt. You no longer carry the baggage. You let go, right? Wands is about letting go of feelings, emotions, ideas, energies that keep you bound, right? Keep you stuck, keep you from expanding. Ten of Swords talks about coming to an end of a long road of the ego, having gone through so many different lessons, trials, and tribulations that the old you is completely dead and vanquished. So not only are you letting go of all the baggage that you've been carrying, but now you've transformed into a whole new you, and your ego is completely transformed. But let's get right into this reading, which is quite heavy and also quite funny at the same time, but we'll see. Two of Swords. So yeah, again, you're in two minds about something, right? You keep trying to decide, can you, should you, shouldn't you, should you, shouldn't you, yes, no, yes, no. Do you go forward? Do you pull back? Do you want them? Don't you want them? You cannot make a decision. You know, it's like forgiving and learning and playfulness is in, right? So attraction as well. This is very much, I feel very much, this is like you're dealing with an individual Aries where it's like you are so attracted to this person, but this person pisses you off so much, right? And you simply cannot decide which emotion is stronger, right? You just can't, you know. And for as much as they irritate you and make you angry, you are just that much drawn to them, attracted to them, you know, mesmerized by them even, and you just can't decide. And really the twos talk about duality and balance rather than making a choice. And really at the end of the day, this is going to call for a full transformation of a situation so that you can balance this person being in your life to some degree, but not to a degree where it's going to drive you crazy. Right? You can't totally get rid of them. It's like you cannot let them go, yet you can't have them the way they are right now in your life because it's making you nuts, right? And you're constantly going through this up and, you know, this back and forth in your mind, right? Because your emotions are in the background just rolling by, right? I mean, it's like you can't control your emotions here. They're there, and you're trying to be very logical about it, but you just can't because your emotions just keep coming into it. You've come to a period now, Ten of Swords, where it's been, you know, you're done. You're done with certainly one part of your life that's been really a lot of trouble, a lot of strife, just a lot of hard work, you know. You've just had to really come up with, you know, a lot of battling, right? Swords is the battle. It's a weapon. It's the battle suit. So it's like, it's felt like it's been a long battle. It's felt like it's been a lot of opposition. Like you've really had to dig your heels in. Like you've had to scrape for and work for every little bit. You've had some losses along the way. You've had some knocks to your ego along the way, right? But now you're at the end of this long 10 is conclusions. 10 is closing of a chapter. You're at the end of a very long, difficult chapter, and you're ready to kind of evolve to the next stage. You're a totally new person. 10 of Swords definitely indicates, you know, when you come out of a period of your life as a completely different person, you've changed, you know. It's when people meet you and they're like, wow, you've changed somehow. And you're like, yeah, you know, I've been through a lot, and, you know, you're different now. But it's, you know, invariably it's a change for the better. Right? It's a change for the better. It's an ascension that we take, you know. 10, you know, 10 certainly is now, we are, we've ascended to another level, and we might be right back to the beginning. We might be right back to the first, to the ace or the two of that level, but we have overall ascended, and the ego has kind of expanded a little bit. And you've you know, you're as it were closer to your true nature. I don't want to say a better person because you know, the idea of better or worse are confining ideas when we talk about universal energies. This is more in terms of being closer to your soul, your spirit, who you truly are, right? And this evolution process is taking you just one step closer to the correction. You know, it's just one more correction closer to being at one with who you really are. And so star fulfillment comes in. You start to feel like, wow, let's go back to maybe I can fulfill these dreams, right? There's a wish that you've had for a very long time, and wish fulfillment, right? For the star card. The star card is the second seven. The first seven is the chariot. So sevens are all about wishes and dreams, but they're all about the path that we take to those wishes and dreams, right? Where in the chariot, we lay the path, we lay the groundwork in a very material way, in a very physical way. You know, we get all our ducks in a row. and that sort of thing. And once we engage on the path, we cannot really be stopped. The star is more or less talking about getting everything in line spiritually, emotionally, so that your intention, so that when you send your intention out into the world, it is as sure as you need it to be to bring back or to manifest that wish. Just like in the chariot, right? We lay the groundwork. When we lay the groundwork in a material plane, it's very easy to be focused. You have to do this, you have to do that, you have to prepare for this. You can write lists, to be. But when we're laying the groundwork in the spiritual and the emotional world, right? There is, there is the task of keeping your intention unified, keeping it true, keeping it virtuous, keeping it in line with what you truly desire. And that can be a lot more difficult than the energy of the chariot. It's the next evolution, hence it's the 17. Right? But when we do wish fulfillment through the path of the star, it is sort of that kind of lifelong wish fulfillment. It isn't these like little goals that we have along the way, but this is more lifetime wish fulfillment. This is more spiritual wish fulfillment. Attaining a goal that your spirit has had in mind, that your soul has had in mind, and not just your ego, not just who you are as a personality, right? And so this is beautiful energy. You're feeling that. I think you're feeling that because you're coming out of this stage, right? And you've done some learning and some evolving, right? And you're feeling very playful. I think you are feeling very spiritual right now. But you are also feeling very playful. I think you're feeling a bit more confident. You've had quite a period of solitude, Aries. It could be that you haven't really been seeing anyone. You haven't been dating. You've been pulling away. You've been pulling away from the idea, I think, of having any kind of relationship, which is why playfulness is here. There isn't any real kind of like, you don't desire commitment right now. I don't think you've desired commitment for quite some time, right? I think you've been dealing with kind of this stage, this other period of your life that's been quite difficult, and it's not really allowed you to have space for any commitment, and you simply haven't wanted it. You've been very happy kind of on your own and solitary. I think most recently as well, you've done a little soul searching, right? Because I think you've looked at the reasons why you're not involved with anyone right now. And I think that part of that I think that part of the ultimate wish fulfillment is to find a commitment or some kind of, a relationship that you can move forward in, right? But yet and still, right, you realize that you still have a lot to do on your own, and you desire to do a lot of spiritual work on your own, to be on your own, to have solitude, to be solitary, not to be lonely, but to be on your own. This is the major 9, the Hermit. You have another 9 underneath, 9 of Swords, which is lonely energy and as well, but it's a kind of alone energy when we torture ourselves with guilt and anxiety. We wake up in the middle of the night. We feel as though no one has our back, right? This is very much, because 9 is also the number for the relationship to yourself, right? That's why the Hermit goes, the Hermit card is the 9, because he goes within. He takes a solitary spiritual walk. Why? Because to gain wisdom, to gain understanding, ultimately to gain understanding of himself, of who he is, of his soul being the closest thing to the Godhead, right? So in understanding himself, he comes closer to God. So the relationship to the self is a real relationship that you are to nurture and cultivate, and that is part of that whole 9's energy. So here, your relationship to yourself is quite discordant. You're giving yourself a lot of misery, right? You're feeling quite guilty. You're feeling quite anxious, right? You're kind of just, you're torturing yourself, right? This is the self-torturing card, where you blame yourself for things that aren't really your fault. You have anxiety about mistakes you've made in the past and worrying about, those mistakes rearing their ugly head again. The one good thing about the 9 of Swords is that it's not based in any reality or about what's really truly happening. It's more really the card of anxiety and worry, right? But not necessarily worry for any concrete reason or to say that these things are actually happening. So I just jumped ahead to this card because it is the second 9. But let's go after the Hermit. So you're coming through this period, right? You're still dealing with this kind of Two of Swords, which is really talks about whoever this person is that you're so attracted to, right? But you're still stuck. You've done the soul searching, but something about, in terms of this relationship, because this is a love reading, right? So with regard to your relationship, with Hanged Man being in the center, you're still unwilling to move, right? You're realizing now, Hanged Man comes in when we've realized that we do have to move. This has been the same kind of message for quite a few weeks now, Aries, which is, you know, if you want them, you have to move towards them. Because here we have, again, Hanged Man energy. You know this, but you're being so stubborn about it. You're being very stubborn. And I think a lot of that has to do with this Two of Swords, because now we get to the root of why you're being stubborn, which is you're not quite sure if you want them. You can't stop being attracted to them. You simply cannot stop thinking about them. But because there are such a mix of emotions tied up with this individual, and a lot of that has to do with your interplay with them, right? The way you guys interact with each other. It's almost as if you've met your match, right? That they kind of, despite all the attraction, they also evoke such frustration in you that you're still kind of like, I don't know. But you know you've got to do something. And hence the Hanged Man is there, because the Hanged Man shows up when you realize something has to give. Knight of Swords is coming in, so there's that kind of knight in shining armor coming in right now. This isn't you, because you're Hanged Man energy right now at the center. You're kind of, you're still trying to decide. You're in the land of indecision until you realize it's about balance rather than decision. I feel like this could almost be a friend or someone that you know, or an energy coming into your life. This could be the energy that you're feeling nervous about, because while you're unwilling to move and you're at this point still quite in two minds about how you really feel with this person. There's someone else there who's coming into the scenario like a bat out of hell. This Knight of Swords is coming in, and again, this is not gender specific. These readings are all about, right, energies. This could be a female, male, doesn't matter, but they're coming in, and I feel like you almost feel like they're competition for you, right? They're coming into your love life. They're coming into your space somehow. I don't think that they're necessarily welcome, because you're hanging there like, you know. And then to have all of this anxiety afterwards, I think you're starting to worry that. And of course this happens because it's like you don't know what you want to do with this person. You want them, you don't want them. You want them, you don't want them. And certainly when you start to see other people coming into the picture who may want them or who may be in the same social circle, right? Certainly this Knight of Swords is within your social circle, right? You being fire, Aries, this is Knight of Swords is air of air energy, right? So this is very compatible. This could absolutely be a friend or someone around you who's just as passionate in a very airy way, not so much in a fiery way, but in an airy way, right? So now you see this individual, so it's like, you know, you're in two minds about this person, but certainly when somebody else comes on the scene who may be a competition for you, it's going to now ramp up. Right, this Nine of Swords is kind of like anxiety of where you're like, what do I do? You know, what do I do? I don't want to lose them. I'm not sure if I still want them, but I don't want somebody else to grab them either. What do I do? You just can't decide. And here comes the Five of Wands, bickering and power struggle. So, yeah, I think there's going to be some power struggle coming in with this individual, Nine of Swords. I think there's going to be a little back and forth, right? A little back and forth with this Knight of Swords for your objective, for the object of your affection in a way, right? Now, it could also be, if this is not someone who is in competition or in your social circle, this could very well be your person coming back into you, because forgiving and learning, right, indicates that there was something going on here that's not quite keeping the relationship forward moving and harmonious. And it could be that you have had a falling out with this person, and this person is now coming in for you hard. They want to have this conversation with you. This individual could this Knight of Swords could be the one that the person that you're so attracted to, and now their energy is coming towards you. They've had enough of waiting on you. They've had enough of all of that. But yet, why then the Knight of Swords? Why then the worry? right? And so yeah, I think this, you know, from it could be either or, but really my intuitive read tells me that this is certainly a friend or a person in the social scene who's giving you a lot of anxiety, making you almost want to move faster than you're willing to move, right? So you're here, hangman, and they're coming in like rush, 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 rush. Well, if you don't move, I'll move, you know? And it's like, man, why are you speeding up my game? You know, it's like when you play pool. Why are you speeding up my game, you know? And so and that invariably comes some of the power play, the back and forth, the bickering, right? And so you start to reevaluate what you want because you see that there are options here, right? But you know you haven't been able to decide, and it's like it's taking you back into fantasizing again about, you know, what do I really want? What do I want this person? Do I truly want a relationship with this person? If I do, what kind of relationship do I want to have with this person, right? It's just making you go right back into reevaluating your dreams again. This is another 7. Here's the 17. So you have 2 7s, 2 9s. So, you know, it's very much like you know, you're trying to work out, and 2 10s. So completing one cycle, getting ready to start another chapter of your life, right? But yet still trying to figure out what it is, you know, how you see yourself, you know, how to move forward with yourself. Have you done the kind of all of the work that you wanted to do on yourself? Are you where you want to be in terms of how you feel within yourself, right? And then still this wish fulfillment, because it's like this wishing and dreaming for like a certain kind of life or certain kind of relationship is coming in as well, because you're closing these cycles. You're leaving some baggage behind. You're growing up a little bit. I think now you're starting to see a possibility for a relationship, but you're still not sure. So now that you see a possibility for a relationship, because you have these 2 10s, these 2 areas in your life that are coming to completion, I think that you're very much in this kind of like reevaluating. Well, shit, it's like one of those, now I have the time to have, to be with somebody. Who do I want to be with? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like when you get what you've been asking for, the time and the space, and it's like you're almost caught off guard, like, now I've got to figure out what kind of relationship it is that I want, you know? I got to figure out, do I really want to be with this person now that I'm free? Or do I want to skip this altogether and just go out in the world and find someone else? And so you're still kind of, I don't want to say stuck, but you're still unwilling to make any major decisions. Show me what's going on for our lovely Aries. This is certainly for an Aries who's been on their own for quite some time. All right. You haven't been involved in a relationship. This is a single Aries who's done a lot of soul work, a lot of solitary work, right? Could be that you've come out of a particularly difficult relationship a few years back and you just haven't gotten back into things, into the swing of dating again for some time, right? But yet there is someone who's been catching your eye. There's someone that you've been very playful with, that you have a lot of attraction and chemistry, that you have a lot of attraction and chemistry with, right? However, it's not like you're in a relationship with them, or that you've been in a relationship with anybody else. You've been quite solitary. But this one person does give you a glimmer of possibly something that you could want again, right? And I think that's where all of this turmoil is coming from, because you've been quite happy to be on your own. And it's like, damn, you know, why did this person have to come and disrupt all of this? I was happy to be on my own. I was happy to be, you know, not in a relationship and just working on myself. And it's like this person has come in, and it's almost in a way that they've revived your desire to dream about, well, maybe a relationship wouldn't be so bad, you know? I can't stop thinking about them, you know? What would it be like to be with that person, you know? So it's quite strange. It's quite a difficult, I wouldn't say difficult, but more confusing time for you, you know? It's like you were sure you knew what you wanted, and being with this person almost has thrown the whole apple cart up. And it's like, am I sure I know what I want? Is this really what I want? So we're going to see. Let's get some clarifying cards out. Queen of Discs. We've got Hermit energy. There you go. 6 of Cups. Yeah, that's the desire for a pleasure. Three of Discs, work. Prince of Discs, Knight of Wands coming out over the Knight of Swords. Judgment, Aeon, that's what I was saying. Nine of Swords often talks about self-judgment. The Magician coming out in balance. And the Hanged Man again. Chariot, there we go. So there's the other 7. All right. So as I said before, there's the other 7, right? So yeah, you're on the path. Certainly with 2 10s, you're on the path. You're ready to engage on a new stage in your life, a stage on the path to your next goal, your next dream, right? You're in 2 minds about things because you've worked very hard for what you've got so far, and you don't want what you have attained so far to be destroyed because of a wrong decision or to be lost, right? Queen of Discs is that kind of energy. It's that protective energy, you know. She's protective over what she's earned or worked for or gained in her life because she knows how hard it was to get it. Right? She's the queen who understands gratitude. She's the queen who understands being thankful for what you have. She's the queen who understands the nature of hard work, right? She understands the nature of the tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race, you know? And so she's very protective. She's a very protective queen, right? She's probably the most protective queen in the deck. And so yeah, you don't want to make any decisions. You're being very protective. You're being protective of yourself and what you've worked for so far, and you don't want to make any hasty decisions. Here comes the Hermit, 2nd time in the reading, right? Just to confirm, you have been on a very solitary kind of spiritual journey. So, and in regards to this stage, certainly this segment of your life that's ending, like I said, coming out of this, you've gone into this spiritual journey, and the Hermit coming out just clarifies that. Again, Star, like I said, Star, wish fulfillment, 6 of Cups. So 6 of Cups in the Thoth deck is talks about pleasure in relationships, but in general, we see the 6 of Cups as being that soulmate, that young love energy. Young souls falling in love, remaining in love. It's the pleasure of being together, right? It's the 2 little children in the traditional deck with the young boy giving the little girl some flowers. It's the beauty, it's the grace of being in love and being in love with each other and seeing just, it's playful, right? It's the playfulness, it's the youth of love, right? Which endures, which is that's, you know, keeping love young and remain, you know, endures, that soulmate energy. In turn, also falling in love with others, coming together at a stage where you're young souls is also soulmate energy. So it's the youthfulness of love, really, and the playfulness, which is why that's come out. 3 of Discs is coming in, so gain and works. Part of your solitary path most recently has helped you really gain, right? Has helped you to understand the need for the Holy Trinity to be involved in all things. This is one of the lessons probably that you've been working on during your self kind of realization most recently, which is the integration of the mind, body, and soul. Not only just using your mind, not only just using your body or your spirit, right, and things with them, you know, just being ambitious, blindly ambitious, but using the 2 in harmony. 3 being the number 4, unity and bonding, loyalty, coming together to work towards one focus. And I think this is the lesson that you've been learning about yourself as well during this period of the Hermit energy. Coming out of this at the center, we have Prince of Discs on this Hanged Man energy, right? So Prince of Discs talks about understanding how you have to move forward. But he's slow moving, just like the Hanged Man. Right? The Hanged Man is stuck. A lot of people consider him to be stuck. But oftentimes, like I said, the Hanged Man only shows up when you're already waking up. You know it's time to come down, right? But you're moving slowly, right? And as a result of this coming down, it can be also, Prince of Discs does bring opportunities. And so it can be that, you know, that oftentimes the Prince of Discs brings an opportunity that's been a long time coming. And it may have been a long time coming because you've been on this perch for a long time. So coming down off of this perch and moving, making some, you know, engaging some forward momentum now towards some of your dreams and goals should open the door really not only to love possibly, but to other opportunities in your material world, in your financial world, in your abundance world. Certainly because you've learned some lessons here about that, right? About how to, uh, tackle that part of your life. And so coming down out of that hanged man energy fully will engage that. Knight of Wands coming out over Knight of Swords, right? So this is you, Knight of Wands coming in. Are you going to match this Knight of Swords? Right? Are you going to match this? Because like I said, this Knight of Swords, I think, is somebody who you see as competition. And so them coming in may just awaken you more than even we see here with the Hanged Man at the center, faster than the Prince of Discs, may awaken you, right, to that Knight energy, right? That Knight energy coming in. You know, engage your fire, your passion, you know. You're going to chase. If this person comes in, you're like, hang on a second. Don't think it's sweet over here, right? I may have been taking my time to make a decision on this individual or on this relationship, but that doesn't give you the go ahead to just come in and sweep everything aside or sweep this person away from me, because I'm going to fight for it. I think this if this is indeed competition for you, and again, it doesn't have to be, you could be male, female, these could be male, female, but if this is indeed competition for you, if this person really is someone in your circle that you see is now suddenly moving forward into kind of, you want to, I think you even want to say into your business, right, in a way. I think it's really going to get you fired up. Judgment is coming, and we'll see how that, it could be that this fire, this fieriness that it's bringing in you, this desire for you to now really move forward, could be what is needed for you to blast away some of this kind of like slow moving energy around all of this. 20 is coming in over 9. So the Aeon is judgment. So like I said, Nine of Swords is all about judging yourself, relationship to self in terms of guilt, unnecessary anxiety. Relax, take a step back. Aeon, judgment in the thought. Aeon is a card for judgment in the thought deck, and it admonishes us to take a step back, to try to see things from all sides, rather than only looking from your kind of side of an issue. When you look at things from only your perspective, it's very easy to judge according to your very limited kind of like experience, right? I mean, if we think about it, our experience is so limited, right? Which is why it is required to study the craft, right? It's required to study symbolism and to study the mysticism and the knowledge of those who've come before us. Because if we simply rely on what we believe to be, the answer, I mean, like, how could you possibly think, our experience is so limited, that's why you study, right? So if you're only going to look at something from your point of view and you have this attitude of, for sure, then you're going to be kind of tortured. You have to sort of take this stance of, well, hang on a second, I don't know everything. I only know my limited view, my limited sort of experience. Maybe it's different. If I look at the scenario from all sides, maybe if I try to look at it from their point of view or everyone else's point of view, I can begin to empathize and begin to forgive myself as well as others, right? Seeing from all sides, seeing a scenario from all sides helps to kind of melt away that kind of judgment of right and wrong, and we get closer to the understanding of the universe being duality in all things. The Magician comes in equal in balance to cover the 5 of Wands. So that bickering, you need to gain balance, right? You need to sort of get your balance back again, right? You are the Magician manifesting here. So this indicates that the power is really in your hands. 5 being the power struggle number. Yeah, you're bickering with somebody because they're being petty. You're being goaded into being petty back. Pull back and get into your Magician energy, right? You don't need to pit fire with fire, right? You don't need to prove anything, right? Because you are the Magician. You can manifest and change this scenario into what you want it to be, which is can be something completely different than just this back and forth arguing, right? You have the power to transmute this and really, stop it dead in its tracks, right? But it requires your awareness, right? And your desire not to be in this energy anymore and to move forward, Not to be goaded. Be careful not to be goaded, not to be kind of pulled in. And here we go. Last one is, yeah, like I said, we ended on the Seven of Cups, this sort of reevaluation after everything of what it is you truly desire. It could be up until now that you have been quite happy being on your own. But now as a result of everything that's happened, you realize that maybe you do want to have a relationship. Maybe you do want to work on it with this person. Maybe you do have enough attraction for them to actually, you know, get over whatever this other issue is that you have with them that's keeping you in two minds, that's making it hard for you to decide what to do next, right? And again, Hangman has shown up for the second time in a reading. And this is why I love doing clarifiers with the Thoth deck. This Thoth deck I've had since I was in my 20s. So for 27 years I've had this deck. And it's never really gone wrong for me when I clarify or read with it. Right, it's just I have such a connection with the deck, and the deck has such a connection with me in a way, right? And I just love it. Certainly for the Hanged Man to come out, this is all about you realizing that you've been stuck for a long time, perhaps, in your own kind of limited way of thinking of yourself, right? You've almost limited yourself to, you know, by thinking, well, you know, I'm not into those kind of relationships. How do you know you've never tried it? I'm not into that type of person. How do you know you've never been with that type of person? You know, I think you're realizing now that you've actually, maybe you've been living under quite a stringent, limited set of ideas about yourself. And now that you're realizing that you, in fact, do have the capacity to experience a lot of different types of interplay and relationships, you're starting to open up and realize that there are more options out there for you than what you had thought before. I think before, part of you being stuck in this Hanged Man energy and going off in your Hermit energy is that you just didn't think that certain options were open to you. I think you just assumed that they just weren't for you, Aries, right? And now you're starting to realize that that's rubbish, you know, that's nonsense, you know. And so coming out of this Hanged Man energy, the greatest thing that it's done is that it's opened up all kinds of possibilities for you that before you thought were never possible for you. And certainly different types of relationships with different types of people, different caliber of people as well. All right. So I'm going to call it Aries. This is your mid-month check-in for July. All right, a lot of changes. It is a love reading. It's about all the things that, you know, for those Aries who resonate with this, who are tuning into this video, all of this hard work that you've done about, you know, with yourself to make yourself open to more opportunities for love. And they're certainly there. Be playful, you know, follow your attraction and learn to forgive. Learn to forgive people so that you can forgive yourself and move forward rather than cutting yourself off from relationships that could be otherwise extremely fun and enjoyable and a whole new adventure for you. All right, if you resonated with this, like, subscribe, and share. All right, sound off below. Tell me what you're going through. If you want to schedule a private reading, you resonated with this, you have the similar situation, you'd like to go a little bit deeper, just follow the link at the bottom of your screen. But for right now, I'm just going to tell you, Aries, I love you guys. You have a wonderful mid-July. I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.